Hello, welcome to Mosaic Arts Online. I am Anabella Wewer, and if you know any of my work, you know I love color gradations. I use them as a storytelling tool sometimes, but in general I just love making them. In this course, I go over gradations 5 different ways. The obvious is a straight up color gradation from light to dark, and we discuss the details related to the distance one needs to cover in a work and how many shades or tones it takes to make it successfully. Next, we discuss how to create gradations by introducing colors into other colors, producing visual interest and allowing us to make smooth gradations when we don't have as many of the shades and tones to make a value gradation. We also talk about making gradations with just 2 colors by mixing different proportions of both, and how the dimensions of the tesserae affect what our eyes perceive. We then talk about gradations that go from matte to shiny and which materials can be used for that. And lastly, I cover very briefly how to use the phasing to also achieve a gradation effect. All of these techniques can be used whether you work with andamento, pointillist style, crazy paving, and all of the techniques and materials. In fact, mixing materials is essential for some of these gradation techniques to be successful. Included in this course is a list of my favorite resources for getting materials, including the pigments used to make the man-made tesserae I sometimes use to help me transition from smalti to stone. Let's get going.
Anabella, thank you so much for coming to Mosaic Arts Online and bringing this course about color gradation with all kinds of materials. It is awesome, and I really appreciate you bringing this to our students.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure always to be here.
So great. This course is really amazing in that it is not difficult. It's a new way to see color and how it can be used, and you do it in your work all the time.
Yeah, gradations is really my favorite thing. I do it even when I'm just kind of doodling or thinking.
That is your doodle.
That is my doodle. It
doodle.
and lines.
Right?
Yeah, I love gradations, and so it's not difficult. But there's also a lot that goes into making them successful, like
Yes.
just to the distance that you need to cover, or how smooth you want it to be, all kinds of things to think about.
There is, and that's what's so great about this course. It is so rich with information, from the pointillism to doing the gradations with just 2 colors. But here, Anabella shows in the course how so many different pieces of material just gradate in light to dark. And there's, I tell us more, though, about how people can use this in their work.
So I use it a lot as part of the narrative of my work. So if I'm trying to tell a story of, say a fossil coming back to life, then the color kind of brings it back. So it goes from, a light color to a full color. But also just because it's so beautiful, just it allows you to expand spaces or contract spaces, or just simply go from very shiny to matte. And in those instances, almost anything goes. Like I will cut anything that will get me the right color to get there.
Yes. And it goes even deeper when you teach your color theory course that's here at Mosaic Arts Online. But this is sort of like, could kind of be a launching, pad for getting more into understanding color.
Yeah, we address gradations a little bit in color theory, but this is more, well, first it's simpler for beginners, but also then it kind of dovetails into how to mix and what our eyes are doing and the density of the color and all of that. So the pointillism goes into that, and I draw a little bit, or use watercolors to kind of help bring that together. But just an easier way to see how much or what the proportions are that make a gradation.
Yes, and throughout the course, Anabella shares a lot more of her works that she has created over the years to share how gradation can work. So you're seeing a small array here, but in the course there's so much more you can learn just from seeing your work as you explain these 5 different ways that you can use gradation, right?
Yeah. In all sort of dimensions, so and settings, and different materials. One thing to keep in mind is that you can do a gradation very successfully with just 4 or 5 shades of a color.
Right.
but in sometimes I'm using 27, 30 of them.
Oh, you got to see this stuff she does. It's unbelievable. And it really is achievable and is a great course for beginners. So I can't thank you enough for bringing it to Mosaic Arts Online and you just being here again.
Thank you. It's so much fun.
Yes.
Always.